Hey guys, I'm gonna give you a little time to hop on. I'm really excited. Let me come a little closer about what we're gonna be talking about today. It's pretty exciting. But I know I'm actually gonna pull this up in the group so I can see who's hopping on too. I wanna give you a little time. Okay, let's see. So no one's on yet. There we go, someone's on. So just say hi and let me know who's here. I'm gonna wait a couple minutes to get started so more of you guys can get on. I know it takes like a minute or two for everyone to see it. Okay, we've got a couple of you coming on. Yay, Elizabeth's here. Hi, Elizabeth. And who else? Mary, hey Mary, Angel. All right, guys, so let a couple more of you guys come on, and then we'll get started in a minute here. Hi, Angel. It's gonna be exciting training today, though. I'm really, really excited about it. Okay, so just see one more minute or so, and we'll get started. Hi, Heidi. There we go. Because I know that there were over 20 of you guys that we're going to come to this today, so I don't want you to miss too much of it. But what I'm going to be talking about today, I'll just kind of do the introduction, is I was really, feeling into, what you guys need and what you're probably, needing and wanting right now. And the thing that I'm seeing is a lot of you really do want to make a big leap forward in your income, and you're not really sure how to do it. And one of the things that I've done in my own business several times is made large leaps forward in income and maintain that. And so many of my private clients and my clients with Sherry are, that's one of the things that we're the best at, is really helping our clients make those big breakthroughs, but more importantly, maintain them. So I really want to teach something that, normally is just for private clients today to you guys, because it's so important. Hey, Tracy. And I'm going to share, here's like my own story. I know you guys are just still kind of hopping on here. Hi, Jocelyn. Hi, Tracy. But I never really had 10K months. What happened to me was I had an in-person coaching business, and I was coaching in-person, entrepreneurs. And then I didn't want to do that anymore. I had my children, and I wanted to move in the online space. And when I first came online, I didn't just jump to, multiple six figures either. I got kind of stuck. So my first month was like $3,000, and then I had a $5,000 month, and then I had an $8,000 month, and then I went down to, I think it was like 3 again, and then 6. Those are my first 5 months of business. And I didn't really, at that point, I really hadn't mastered the consistency, and I hadn't mastered what I'm about to teach you now. But what I'm about to teach you guys is what allowed me to go from like whatever the average of 6,000 or something like that to never below 15,000 ever again. So to 15 to 20,000 was the next level. So I kind of skipped that whole 10K. And I had a $17,000 month, and then everything was 15 to 20 for the following 5 months of my business. And then I used the same principles that I'm going to teach you, and created another crucial jump from the 15 to 20K to 35 to 40K, which I maintained before going to the next level, probably about 9, actually maybe even 12 months. That I was, kind of in that realm. I had a couple 50K months, but it was, really, really consistent. And the difference between what I had before, which was inconsistent, to the consistency, is the important part. So it's, this is going to be kind of 2 parts for you guys. It's going to teach you how to create the big leaps in income, and then how to maintain them, and then keep, doing that for the future. Because a lot of people either get stuck at an income level and don't even know how to make the leap, or will have like a big month somewhere, kind of like I did when I was like 3 to 8K, and didn't really know how to maintain or keep growing. So tell me, guys, does that sound good to you? You guys want to learn how to do that? So I don't see any yeses. Just say yes if this feels like something that's going to really help you, because this has worked also. The thing that I've noticed is all of my clients that have really worked on these principles have also had huge leaps. I have a client that went from 10 to 15K months to 30, and has now she is at 60 to 75K months now consistently. Another one of our clients, when they start working with us, was somewhere, I think, around 6 to 8, and is, around 30K cash months now too. So it's worked with a lot of clients. It's it works for anyone as long as, you have great products or services, both, either or, and that they get, great results too. And so Amethyst is one of our clients. She's ready for the next level too. So yeah, so whatever you're at, this works for the next level. So let's just kind of go into it. All right, so I have a couple notes on it, so I make sure. So there's specific steps that I took and that you can take to do this. And that's what I really want to discuss today, because if you feel stuck at a certain level, there's some things that are holding you back. And if you want to make a big leap forward, you have to take, specific steps and have certain things in place. And that's what we're going to discuss. So the first thing that I did for every single time that I made these big leaps forward was to sit down and actually take the time to decide why you want it. So this is something that a lot of people negate, but if you don't have, money does love a place to go, and your goals, if they're just kind of those airy-fairy intangible goals that don't really have a purpose to it, it's really hard to hit them, and it's really hard to do what it takes to actually get there. So the first thing is to decide why. Why do I want this? So, I'll start with way back in 2015 when I did this the first time. I was really feeling stuck. Even though I'd moved up really quickly, I had already had 6-figure in-person businesses, and I just was really ambitious and wanted, to gain that traction. I knew that my coaching was really powerful. I knew I could help people, but I was stuck, at that average of 6K. So I decided, I'm not doing this anymore, and I set a goal. I wanted, actually, the funny thing is, the first time I set a goal of 10 to 15K, and I actually beat that and never really went back down. But you may exceed your goal, but whatever the goal is, you want to have a reason that you wanted that. And I had, at the time, a lot of you guys know I have 3 horses now. So at that time, I had no horses. And I really wanted to ride again. I had ridden so much, as a child, and it was until I was 25, actually. I'd ridden until I'm 36 now. So at that time, it was, 2 years ago? So it had been 9 years, almost 10 years since I had really owned horses and competed. And I was actually 24, I think, when I stopped. But that doesn't really matter. But it was like a dream, right? My dream was to ride again. And I was, my husband was like, I don't know if we can afford a horse. And, I'm like, I'm not making, obviously I had coaches and stuff. So when I was making 6K, that was 2K profit, right? It was, or less. I think I hired some pretty good coaches too in the beginning. So it's probably almost no profit. So I knew I needed to get to that next level to be able to have that happen. And it was really important to me. And I knew that that was a dream that would never be fulfilled if I didn't step up. And so I wrote about it, and, and I have 3 horses now. At the time, I just wanted a horse. I just wanted to ride again and be able to afford that. And that was the big, motivating factor. So I started to take actions. And you want to figure out what that is for you. Because if you have no reason to have more money, you're just like, oh, it'd be cool, or it'd be nice to just sit in a savings account. That doesn't generally work, because there are things you're going to have to do, ways you're going to have to step up that you won't want to do for no reason. Does that make sense to everyone? Why you want to start out by setting the intention of why you want the money? Can I go yes if that makes sense and resonates with you guys? Cool. Okay, so then the next thing, after you've already decided, hey, this is, this is what I'm going to use it for, this is why I want it, this is, this is a powerful enough emotional pool to get you to, be able to stick it out and take the action, then you really need to make the commitment to it. So if you're not committed to having it happen, if you're like, well, it'd be kind of cool to do that or whatever, and you don't have that really strong commitment of you, because here's the deal, guys. If you're stuck where you're at, you don't really know exactly what it's going to take to get there, and you're going to have to adjust, and you're going to, obviously it's great to have a coach that can help support you get there too, but no matter what, even with that, you're still going to have to do things that you haven't done before, because the next level is going to take something different than this level did. So you have to make that commitment that, I'm going to do what it takes. This is really important to me. I'm going to show up, and I'm going to do what it takes at a really high level. So that's the second step, is to have that type of commitment. The commitment that, no matter what happens, nothing is going to come in your way of hitting this goal. So that's step 2. So step 3 is you got to reevaluate your business. So the first thing, I'm going to share my story throughout because it's important. So the thing that was going on, and I'm going to address this for you guys too, because I bet a lot of you are in this place, that when I was at those 6K months, or on average or whatever, it was 3 to 8K or whatever during that time period, I did not have anything more than one-on-one coaching that I was offering. And while you can use one-on-one coaching to definitely get further than where I got with it, 6K, at that point I had enough of a following, and I realized that I didn't want to just be selling one-on-one coaching, because here's the deal. So if you choose one-on-one coaching as your way to get to 15 to 20K months, totally possible. But the thing about it is, it's very hard to have that be the thing that gets you to those 35 to 40K months. You would have to take on a lot of clients or have a very, very high price point. So some people choose that. It is a bit of hustle though. You're always looking for more clients. You're always kind of in that realm. And it's also just a single service. So for myself, I really was ready to move into group programs. So the first thing that I did that helped with that was I reevaluated my offers. I'm like, I was only doing one-on-one coaching. It wasn't very high priced. If I had like 10 clients, I could have made, 15K, I think at that time, but that was too, I didn't want just 10, one-on-one clients. So I did my first group program, and it was a really aligned, program. And I went through, the process for the launch. But that was the first thing I was like, I'm going to do a group program. I'm ready for this. This is, I already know, based on having had enough one-on-one clients, what my people want and need and what I'm most passionate and best at teaching. So that was, what I looked at. So you got to look at having channels. So a launch is definitely a possible channel. But the issue with launching, which I'm going to teach, in this too, is you don't always want to have these big launches be the thing too. So we're going to talk about ways to maintain the income once you get these higher levels. And then at the end, I'm going to do Q&A and answer all of your questions and support you guys on it. So definitely stay on. But you want to have channels that allow this to come in. So if you have just one-on-one, you may consider, okay, maybe it's time for a group offering or small group coaching or some other ways that, you can bring income in that allows, the possibility. Because one thing I noticed as I had it was a single session somebody purchased with me, and they were at 10K a month. They were really stuck there, and they had been just doing one-on-one coaching, and based on their price point, 10K a month was actually a full load of clients, and they were still obviously bringing in new clients all the time. So for her, the shift, the first thing I did, is have her launch her first group program. And she ended up having a $119,000 launch. It was an amazing launch. It was a really, really cool program, very unique, and people just ate it up, which obviously shifted everything for her. But if you haven't done something like that, if you haven't considered what other offerings, and you're really stuck with just the one-on-one, and this is coaching, this is healing. It could be consulting, it could be psychic work, right? Like, I don't care what it is. If you're just that one-on-one limitation, it does limit you. So that's something to consider, is start to look at what ways can this money come in? Do I have enough channels out there that my next level goal can actually come to me? And notice if you're blocking it by not having that open. So that's, step 3. Any questions so far before I move forward? Let me see it. It's hard for me to see the comments this far away. Nothing so far? Okay. So then after that, so once you've decided, that there's, how it's going to happen, how it's possible to happen, you may exceed your goal. So remember that too. But then you want to commit to showing up and doing whatever it takes to reach the goal. So when you start out and you have this kind of goal, you may not know what it takes. So you're going to have to evaluate, and we're going to talk about that too, and possibly really up the ante in certain ways. And if you have the commitment that no matter what, it's going to happen, you're going to be there. You're there for the ride. Like, you're going to do it. Because the thing about having a big shift forward is you need to be disciplined that month. You need to really show up. You need to, and it might be easy. Here's the thing. One of the times that I had the big leap forward was actually really a lot easier, but I was committed at this level. So you may find out, oh, wow, like I didn't really have to show up hardcore, but you also just want to be willing. You don't want to have a limitation on what you're willing to be doing there. Because I've noticed that can hold a lot of people back. It's just not being willing to do what it takes until it takes. Any questions around anything so far before we go to the next step? Cool. So once you've decided you're going to do what it takes, you know what you're going to be offering that month, and you are, in that zone, then you want to start taking the action. So, for myself, I'll share. So when I had the jump from the 6K average months to 15 to 20K months, the first thing I did was a program launch. So I launched the program. It was my very first program. It was a 20,000 total sales launch, and a lot of that ended up being, it was 17,000 in the first month cash, and it started at the end of the month actually. So then the following month it was 20,000. So that was a big piece of it. And I didn't have a huge audience, but I did a lot of trainings. I committed to doing 4, webinar style trainings, showing up. I had just started a different Facebook group, and really I was just showing up. I was giving a lot of value. I was really showing up at a higher level, and it was the launch actually really exceeded my expectations, above and beyond. So it's something like that. You really want to like show up at a different level. And then later on, when I started I did it something different. So when I shifted from, being at that 15 to 20K to 35 to 40K, actually was really consistent for quite a while before I went to the next level. That was a little bit different. So I'm going to share that too. It's a bit different at that point. At that point, I started to realize that, I didn't want to just be doing launching. I wanted to come into the month having certain things already taken care of. So I ended up with, clients who, if they were on a payment plan, they might be on a 6-month payment plan. So, obviously that can fall through, but I knew that, likely I had this amount coming in. So as you want to start to have offers that might be a little longer term, or if you have, membership sites can do this. I've never really done it with a membership site, but some people have, created 10K or, bottom line of that, via a membership site, and then had other offers. There's different ways, but you want to have things that are coming in. The problem with the membership site too is they're not really actually committed beyond month to month, so it's a little bit harder. But if you have, I did I'll say some of the things that I did. So I had one-on-one coaching that a lot of them would pay in full, but some of them would be on on monthly plans. I had small group coaching. I had a mastermind, a lot of different things, so that I would start the month, if I was, look back when I was doing the 35 to 40K months, I would really be looking to be at over 20 and ideally as close to 30 coming in the beginning of the month. So it was very easy to obviously hit the goals. I didn't have a lot to sell to hit 40K if I already had 30K coming in, right? It's only $10,000. So it was super, super easy. So the more reoccurring income you can start to bring in when you're looking to go from 6 or, like from $200,000 years to 500, right? So it's or 4 to 500. It's a big jump, and it does take a different type of mindset. You want to look at, hey, you don't want to come into the way I'm looking at it this way is, so say, you're coming in, it's unlikely that you're going to come in with 0 coming in this month and have it be easy to bring in 40K, right? You're having to start from scratch. So yes, you could have an awesome launch and that could do it, but not every month are we going to be launching something big. That would be a totally exhausting, business plan. Hey, Sherry. So, we're not going to always want to be launching like that. So the more you can have that you're counting on at the beginning of the month, the higher it can get. So if you want to look at that at a bigger level, so say you have 75K that is coming in that month. I mean, how easy is it to hit $100,000, right? So this works at every single level, but that's something that you want to start considering more and more because it's giving you that foundation. Sherry's here, my soulmate. And, I think Sherry totally agrees with, what I'm talking about now too. So that's the piece that, the more you can get that coming in, the more you can have, multiple ways that people can be paying you, whether group programs and that you're leveraging your time, the more you're going to be able to make. So those are some of the big points. Any questions so far before we move on to number 6, point number 6? That's how we roll. No questions? Okay. And I'm going to take questions at the end, guys. So if I miss your question or something, we'll still get to it and I'll answer everything. So the next step is going to be, here's something that a lot of people really avoid. So the way that you're going to actually hit these goals is you're going to have to track it really closely. I've had people say, well, I don't really want to track it, but I've noticed that the thing that, allowed me to always be hitting my goals is I was really tracking it. I tracked every day. I mean, you can skip some days. I might have been a little anal about it, but truthfully, you do want to stay on track because how do you know if you're hitting your goals or getting close if you don't track all month and then you check like 2 days before the end? You don't really know where you're at, and it actually gives you the motivation to continue. So basically, when you're tracking, you want to be tracking, throughout the month and ensuring, so you could break it down. So let's just say you want to have a $20,000 month. So ideally there's 4.33 weeks, but let's just break it up into 4 weeks to like make this a little easier. So, and hey, then you would get it done early, right? So if you broke it up into 4 weeks, you'd ideally want to have at least 5,000 the first week, 5 the second, 5 the third, and 5 the fourth. So say you sold 15,000 in week 1. You're definitely ahead, and you could just coast, or you could like ramp that up and actually go hit a 30 or 40,000 a month, right? So I always tell myself the thing that I shifted is I did not let off the gas. So I wouldn't just be like, okay, I just had a $20,000 sale. My goal was 50, so I'm just going to chill because I did it on day 1. No, I would, just continue to show up, because that's great. Like, why not exceed your goals? Don't be so attached to the goal itself, but to make sure that you don't go below what you're actually looking to create, you have to track it. So you want to go in and you want to start to track it, and you want to start to see where you're at. And then you'll know, hey, I should probably do another webinar for my launch. It's not selling at the rate that we were expecting, or I should, go out and talk about my one-on-one coaching because I, have several spots open. I love doing it, blah, blah, whatever it is, right? So it allows you to really adjust, and you're going to start to be more aware. And the more you give something awareness, the more likely it's actually going to occur for you. So it's important for several reasons, because the more you focus on like what's working and what's not, like the more you're going to have the opening to say, okay, so whenever I do this, I get more sales. And you'll be able to take more actions. Okay, so the next one is you want to always celebrate and be grateful for every single sale. You want to celebrate throughout the whole entire month. Like, get yourself excited, celebrate each thing. The thing you don't want to get into is any negativity of, oh, that didn't work or whatever. Focus on what's working. Do more of that. Don't worry about it. So even if you're wanting a 20K month and you're only at 5K and it's 5 days before the end, you can still do it. It's still possible. You're going to have to show up a lot those last days. But, I've had it where last year at Christmas, I did, just kind of a last minute sale. It was one of the biggest months I had ever had. I'd have to go back and see what I wrote down for the numbers. But it didn't look like it was going to be like the biggest month ever. But I just decided I was going to do this really fun sale. I made $16,000 over a period of just a couple of days cash. And it was all passive. So, you never know what you can create. And then the final thing is throughout the month and every day, throughout your business, you want to, and actually it's not the final thing, I have one more thing after, but you want to work on your mindset. You want to be, seeing if there's limiting beliefs holding you back. Do you actually believe this is possible? Are you blocking yourself? So you want to keep checking in and seeing, hey, am I in my own way? Because that does happen a lot. So you want to really do your mindset work, do journaling. We have a special form of EFT that we do and that we have our clients work through. But you want to have some kind of a process there to maintain your energy, do meditations, do visualizations, stay very focused so that you don't, allow your energy to get totally off or miss a week because you just completely get off track. So that's really important. Then the other thing is too, so the way you get it consistent is what I was saying earlier. You start to bring in things that give you reoccurring income. That's where the consistency piece is. That's where you can rely on. It's a really nice feeling to know that most of your goal has already been hit before the month started. And that's when you can actually do a big up level too. So say you've been really consistent at 30K months and you have 22K coming in next month. That's a great time to put something out there and start to take that next leap forward to 40 to 50K or whatever your next goal is. So that's pretty much what I wanted to cover today. Hopefully that was helpful for you guys. And I wanted to let you guys know before I move on to questions that Sherry and I, this is honestly one of our biggest things is we have with almost all of our clients who, are ready for their next level goal, been able to get them there, no matter what it is, and teach them how to create that consistent income, which to me, that was the number one thing I wanted. When I was in my online business, I didn't want to just have 100K a month. I wanted to know how to consistently recreate that. And then of course, keep growing, because that's where, your lifestyle can change. That's, why I have 3 horses now. If I really felt like, I couldn't create it again, then it's, it's stressful. So we have, I think, 2 or 3 spaces right now to work with us 2-on-1. We have not offered anything like this in a long time. And having both of, our energies and both of our support is honestly 10 times the factor of success for our clients. So if you're interested and you feel like, you're ready to have a really big income leap for 2018, then please send both of us or one of us a PM and we can, ask you some questions and see if it's a fit. But these spaces are not going to last. We have not done this in a long time. It's for, to work with side by side for 90 days. And the way we work is when you're working with us, you have us. It's not like you just have a call once a week and you can't talk to us. You have us via PM. if you need a call, the same week for something because you're in mid-launch or, you need support around something, we're there. So it's really, really that personalized touch. So let us know if you would like one of these spaces, because it is going to be an amazing journey for you. And now I'm here to take questions. So any questions you have about making the next leap in your income, anything that has to do with business in general, go ahead and ask me. Let me see if there's, wait a couple minutes. Anyone have any questions at all? Comments? What do you think about masterminds? Do you still do these? Yeah, we do. I mean, here's the thing. Like, our masterminds that we do are not a true mastermind only works for business. So if you're not a business coach, and here's the deal. An actual mastermind in its pure form is really a group of people coming together to share ideas. And that's why it's like mastermind, like all together one mind. We generally have it more of like a group coaching experience where we are coaching each person and they're in a group. So that's, we definitely still do those things. And my masterminds have always been more of that, like of a group coaching type experience where everyone learns from each other, but it's not just, the mastermind itself. So group coaching, I think, works in a lot of different realms. Whether it's, health, dating, it can work in anything. Honestly, it can work in anything. Group healing can also work too. So it really depends on what your niche is. And yes, Amethyst is one of our clients. She had her best year ever. She had a multiple 6-figure year. I don't know what her year was before that, but we're so excited to work with her longer. We have amazing clients. Jessica, hey. So if any of you guys obviously are just like jumping on now, the training is awesome. Watch the replay. But I'm taking any questions you guys have. Anything else, loves? Let me look in the group too, because my phone's a little far away, so I think I'm getting too old to read that far. Okay, Angel, if you have paid membership, do you still offer them something to them for sale? I don't understand the question fully, so what do you mean by that, Angel? I don't understand your question. Sorry, I'm getting all these. Yep, I mean, this is going for $500K next year, at least. Brent, you're awesome. And Amethyst can break 500 this year, it feels like to me. Anyone else, guys? If you could just explain what the question, I just don't understand what you mean by that, Angel. I don't know what you mean. Do you still offer to them for sale? Okay, so Danielle says, I left my full-time job a year and a half ago. Hang on, I gotta hit see more. Okay. A year and a half ago, I have one-on-one coaching business, mostly in person. I have very little online presence. What might my first step to be to making money online? I mean, obviously, starting to bring your business online, starting to show up. I don't know what your niche is, but, you're at go. I mean, I honestly had an in-person business coaching. That's really what I did. I was a coach, and I actually started out with eating disorders and relationships. And then I started to get a lot of business owners locally because, my family's been in entrepreneurship and I've pretty much been immersed in it my whole life. But I started to coach people and they had such great results that ended up being, I was like, I love working with entrepreneurs. And then when I had my children, I didn't want to just be in person, and I really moved my business online. So you really just need to start to come online, start to share your message. I don't know what your niche is, if it's a clear niche or not. There's a lot of pieces to it. It's hard for me to answer it without knowing more about you as to like what your best bet would be. Oh, Angel said, do you still create paid offers to your paid? Yeah, if it depends. So, certain levels, if you're for Sherry and I, if you're working with us at, the 2-on-1 highest level, you really actually get free access to everything that we create. In other programs, we might have discounts on certain things on programs. You might get a certain level of discount. And in like lower end membership groups, of course, like if you're, I mean, I don't do a membership group. I'm not the biggest fan of membership sites for myself. It's just not my thing. I don't buy them, so I also don't, you know, feel super aligned with them. But yeah, you absolutely, at your lowest levels, of course, your idea is, you know, if someone starts in at the lowest level with you and they're a perfect fit, they're going to move up the channels. So, I mean, I've had clients who came in for a single session and ended up in my highest level support. And I've had clients I've worked with for a couple of years who came in through group programs. You know, I've had people come in through one day, you know, trainings that have ended up being at the highest level. So, you know, knowing if you over deliver and you get people great results, you're going to get people who definitely upgrade. And you want to have things, you know, at the bottom so that people can kind of try it out for sure. What tech is important to know? I'm not a tech person, Catherine, so I'm not going to address anything tech. We have an online business manager and everyone has opinions on it. Okay, yeah, that's what it felt like to me, Danielle. That's why I said the clear niche. It feels like you don't have, you know, a real clear niche, and that online, it's so much more important even than in person because you need to have a way to speak your message. So I've always been a huge fan of having a really clear focus. You know, for Sherry and I, like our niche is really focused around money. Like our biggest thing is, you know, we help our clients are spiritual entrepreneurs, and we really help them to really make, you know, a great living and the amount of money that they desire doing something that makes a difference in the world, which, you know, so the money piece is, you know, our biggest, you know, focus is, along with the fact that we're psychic and we use a lot of different ways to help people get there, but you want to have a clear niche. Okay, so move them up to the next level. You're welcome. Anyone else before I go? Got a Christmas party to go to at the horse barn tonight, so it's gonna be fun. Can you talk about working through limiting beliefs that Frank Lyford, can you talk about working through limiting beliefs that stop? I mean, yeah, so I mean, in our programs we teach, you know, a process. There's other ways probably to work through limiting beliefs, but you want to really at least figure out, you know, what's stopping you. So if you're not getting to the next level and you're holding yourself back, there's a couple things that are going on. Either you don't believe it's possible and so you're self-sabotaging, or you're just not taking the actions, which is probably because you don't believe it's possible. So as long as you know you're committed and you're not having those breakthroughs, then you have things in your belief systems that are likely holding you back. And there's different ways, you know, we do some different things. There's a limiting belief process, you know, that we take clients through, and then it's not something you can like really teach in like 1 second, but there's also, you know, you can use some journaling. We use some EFT tapping that can help too. There's a lot of different things that you can do, but you do want to, or you can work with a mindset coach, you know, you can work with us, but basically you do want to work through those because our beliefs tend to really restrict where we allow ourselves to go. What's your timeline on making programs? How long do you prepare before you launch it? I don't understand. So making the program. So a lot of times, here's the deal. So for myself, like I will create the outline of the program, but I tend to not, I've never actually created the entire thing before selling it. So I'll actually, you know, go into meditation. I'll get the outline, you know, the download of what the program is meant to be. And then I will create an outline for it and then I'll sell it. So then, you know, sometimes I've sold without sales pages, but if you're going to do a sales page, I'll work on the copy. I'll know what's going to be covered. But the actual creation of the program generally happens, you know, at that point I start it. So I might have a couple of modules done, but I create a lot of it as it's going because things shift too. If you're doing a program live, you know, I always create my programs first live, run them live, you know, see what the results are. And then as long as everyone got amazing results, I turn them into e-programs then. So, you know, I'm not a huge fan of just creating random stuff for like e-products because a lot of times you don't know that that's an amazing product or not, and you haven't had like a real audience for it. That's my personal opinion on that. So, and then preparing before you launch it, I don't do a ton of prep like that. So like, you know, my first one I think was the one I did the longest, maybe a week or 10 days or something like that. I was really writing the copy and, you know, creating the offer. I used a challenge to start it, but now I move a lot quicker than I used to, for sure. Does that answer your question, Jen? You're welcome. Hang on one sec to answer that. Hang on one second, I just have to Any other questions, guys? Otherwise, I'll get off and let you guys go enjoy your Friday. You guys all good? Going once? Going twice? All right, well, thank you. It was so fun to actually share this with you. If you honestly implement these steps, you're going to have a huge shift in your business. And if you're watching the replay, feel free to ask me questions in the comments. If you want to know more about the 2-on-1 coaching, you can comment below and tag me, or you can go ahead and send either Sherry and I or both of us a private message, and we can see, if it's the perfect fit. Oh, you're welcome, Judy. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.